snow globe for day 11. Inside the snow globe we have captured Christmas tree. It's like magically captured inside the glass. My outline is ready. In your outline you also have snowflake outlines, and you can do same as we did in day 10 with snowman inside the ornament, where we with masking fluid first covered all the dots with masking fluid and then waited a few hours and then started painting. I am skipping this step. I will probably avoid snowflakes for today. I want to have a little bit different. And to make this snow globe pop, I will add a little bit of background color around snow globe. Just a little bit, not the entire. We have all cards in same style, and that would be very not in the same collection if one card would be completely painted with the background. I will add just a little like mist of the background, and as I will be adding background, also a little bit of shadow under snow globe. Let's proceed, and with an elastic eraser, removing excess amount of graphite of the paper. So if you're doing masking fluid, pause the video, do the masking fluid step, and then continue where I am right now, because I will be avoiding that. For the color mixing, we also need gray color, as we did with snowman, using primaries. For the gray and brown, nothing changes. Yellow, mine is lemon yellow. Alizarin crimson, red pigment. And blue, ultramarine blue. And now I'm adding more blue because my gray needs to be more bluish gray rather than brown as we have now. Adding with little touches, blue color, mixing, adding more. It's becoming gray, but I need even way cooler. Now it's becoming more, and I would like to make it even more bluish. Cool gray color, testing on the paper, and I like the result. Separately ultramarine blue as well. We can add from the gray. Yes, I like this color as well. Then we need slightly different gray for the snow globe base. Yellow, red, and blue, but this time it will be not as cool as the upper ones. I want to have different. Gray, but different. Yes, perfect. More like metal color. Then Christmas tree, which we already mixed also this color. It was sap green, more of perlin green, more sap green or yellow, a little touch of blue, a little touch of red, really small amount so you don't get brown color. On the side, lemon yellow to have a little bit more yellowish green, like this. and on the side perlin green to have a little bit darker. So in one mix now I have lighter, middle tone, and darker. And we don't need a lot. This is way too much for that little small tree that we have. Now be sure that you have clean water after mixing watercolors. For that purpose, I have 2 cups. And we will start with glass. Same as previously, we will have some shiny spots. So in this, I didn't outline them. I want to make in general this snow globe a little bit more softer than it was with Christmas ornament. Christmas ornament was one alone standing on the page, and then those edges and everything were much more contrasty. This one I want to make more softer, more dreamy looking, and also those shiny spots I will leave a little bit softer, with softer edges. So maybe for now, watch how I will do it, because I don't have them outlined. They will be 2 here and smaller ones on this side. And I will start with that. So again, be sure that your water is clean. Zoom in closer so you can see better what I am doing. And I'm starting with applying water inside the snow globe, around Christmas tree, avoiding Christmas tree. Almost going to the outlines, but leaving a few millimeters off. And I'm going also into the snow section. So I also want to have there more softer edge line. So everything here will be slightly more softer. Checking no puddles. Haven't gone all over the edge line, as you can see. Taking light amount of this mix and applying starting from the sides. Then again here in front, where the snow is stacked against the glass. Going towards the Christmas tree, but not into it, just by the edges. Even if you will reach some of the first branches, that's okay, because Christmas tree is darker than the background, so you can even paint over slightly, lightly. So there's smooth transition, like a blue light mist. Taking a little bit more of color and adding some slightly darker. Washing my brush, cleaning in paper towel. If you overpainted, I will show you where. Just a moment, I'm smoothing edges. Closer to the edge line, everything should be lighter. Now with clean and dry brush, wiping where we need shiny spots. This is one here. And I will have 2. So now everything is very light. So I'm not worried about my shiny spots. I will paint around them. If you overpaint some area, for example here in the snow, then while the surface is still moist, you can wipe off. Adding a little bit of shadow behind the Christmas tree. Here in the snow. It will be in the shadow. Everything light. Don't push with darkness. Not yet. Definitely not yet. And now I will leave it to dry completely. Very light. While the snow globe, the glass part, is drying, we can work on the lower part. For that is this mix we have. Applying water on the whole area of the base. Maybe be careful not to touch the with water glass part. Everything evenly moist, no puddles. No puddles. Slightly on my palette, pigments are separating, so you lightly mix them together, and starting from the shadow side, which is on the right, applying watercolors. There is like an edge which has shadow under. Then another. Those lines that I have are supposed to be, the narrow ones, are supposed to be lighter edges. Washing my brush, cleaning in paper towel, leaving a little bit of lighter part on the right side for reflected light area. Smoothing everything to the edges for precision. And again, everything is very light. We will add contrast with next layers. We have darker part and lighter part. Now my globe is dry. That's why I can add on a dry surface, right under the snow globe, there is this little outlined part where the snow globe is attached to the base, and there is like little gap of shadow, darkest shadow. That will be the darkest part here. Carefully. If your snow globe is still wet, don't do this. We need to have snow globe at this stage dry. As I'm using small amount of water, my paper and painting dries fast, pretty fast. Like this. This is where the snow globe is like laying inside and creates the shadow part. Now we can add right under this edge shadow. Washing my brush, cleaning in paper towel and smoothing. Like this. Then we can also have a darker line under the narrowed outlined line, and the second one. And altogether this right side is darker, but leaving little gap on the very edge of the right side lighter. like this. So we have shadow, we have some contrasty darker edges. If they're too crisp, you can smooth with clean and dry brush. Like this. Now the snow globe is dry, and let's continue with that. Now I want to make visible those shiny parts, so for that reason I am going and adding light amount on a dry surface. So one will be bigger here. First, then I will add like this. Then it kind of will have a longer tail. And then another one. A little separation. And adding light amount of color around. Smoothing instantly, so we have softness around. Maybe need a little bit. Now they still look a little bit strange because they look outlined, like literally outlined. We will build that with more layers. Also on the other side, I will have here light, need to go lighter. There's the little mark of shiny spot, and my brown is separating from the gray mix, and now it looks blue and brown. So lightly mixing them together, that separation happens, and that's okay. Just lightly mix them together. But after mixing, and you need a soft layers, don't go straight with this brush because look, it's way too dark. After mixing colors, you wash your brush. Now load with small amount, and it should be lighter. Let's have another one here. And now more softer glaze to make them look that they are not outlined, but they are part of the glass. Went over the edge. So I want to make slightly lighter, softer edges. And also on this side I want to have another layer. Building lightly and gradually smoothing towards the Christmas tree for gradual transition. Also a little bit more on the front side. Leaving little gap of light. And shadow from the tree. Also we need, and go into the slightly into the Christmas tree, like there are branches and you are going in between them. Washing my brush, cleaning in paper towel and smoothing like this. Now let's continue a little bit more, let the snow globe dry and continue a little bit more on this part. Again, watercolors separated slightly from each other, you lightly mix them. Now this, what we have on the brush, we can use for this darker part, but be sure that your glass is completely dry. And another layer for this little gap. Like this, washing my brush and loading again with fresh. I need to build darkness here. And smooth. Smooth. Also a little bit here, next layer, and here. Now for this base part, I will create a little bit of texture of the material, taking finer tip brush, and I will create a line. It's very, very light. Let's dry. No need to make them finer. And very, very fine lines for the texture of the base. If you're not so sure about your fine lines, you can just skip this step and leave it. As these lines go into the shadow, they need to go darker. Like this. And also here as well. Between those gaps of light lines, just tiny, giving extra layer and extra texture, which always makes things a little bit more interesting, more information to look at, and then the viewer starts to examine, oh, what is this? Oh, here's that. The richer painting, the more attention it grabs. Richer with color or texture or details. It can be different ways how painting can look rich. Now what I want to do is like give a little bit of extra darkness, but like stepping one, like few millimeters off the edge, like there is this base that is actually holding globe. It can't levitate. I will take maybe indigo for that reason. Now I want to add a little bit more darkness under this. Then I want to have a light layer here. And slightly darker on this side because it is in the shadow. Also, this side goes darker, even those white edges, because it is in the shadow. Now when you have everything, you just need to do a glaze and everything will stay still visible, but slightly lighter compared to the left side. Now for these reflected light areas, I'm taking light amount of blue, or very light amount of blue mix. And glazing that. Like this. Now leaving it again to dry, to rest. Snow globe is still a little bit moist, I see, because it is buckled slightly. But the area, no, I will not. It still looks kind of moist. So let's do the background. Slightly zooming out so you can see a wider picture. I'm taking also a bigger brush, which is this brush is number round synthetic 7. This is number 9. Taking clean water, and I will be using same color on the outer part. Starting light. I'm always a little bit stressed about backgrounds because I don't paint them on a daily basis. So if you feel stressed, that's okay. I feel too. More darker it will be on the upper part and becoming almost disappearing, as would imagine that here is the snow also, and there is upper part. And when you are applying water, be sure that you are going just to the edge where the snow globe is definitely dry. Don't go over the edge because then the background will flow into your snow globe and we don't need that. No puddles. And we need this background to disappear. It shouldn't stay crisp with crisp edges, so it needs to disappear. That's why I'm applying water wider than the actual background will be. Light amount of our mix. And applying. Careful not to go into the snow globe, leaving like this little edge. It will also create the feeling of the glass. Very light. It should stay darker closer to the snow globe, and then it will gradually become lighter. Careful with the edge. We need to make this edge as straight as possible around the snow globe. washing and drying my brush. And now I'm making my background dissolve into the surroundings. Like it's disappearing. Smooth. Taking a little bit more. I want to have a little bit darker here, closer to the snow globe. I like how gradually it looks disappearing. So I can add a little bit more closer to the snow globe. Remember about the edge, it needs to be as straight as possible. And this side needs a little bit more and a little bit further. Dreamy. Remember, everything like fluffy and light. Bigger brush for this purpose, definitely. Maybe cold pressed paper would be a better choice for the background and to make it more dreamy, because, well, with cold pressed paper it's easier to make wider areas smoother. That's why even for detailed, super detailed, realistic botanical art, if you are painting in much wider scope, then usually artists take cold pressed paper. But on a smaller piece, details of course are possible only on the hot pressed, like this. I am quite happy with my background. I will add now shadow under. Here I will also start with water. So like this snow globe is standing outside on the snow. So there was snow air around it. Taking my mix and applying around the snow globe base. To avoid crisp edge, now we need to smooth to the wider part. That will avoid crisp edges, like this. Now the inside of the globe is definitely dry. Putting away the big brush, taking finer tip brush, and I have my green mix. Now for the tree. It's a very small area and we need to have it look like a Christmas tree. Painting on a dry surface, taking middle tone, adding even a little bit of blue to my middle tone. I want to first, as we did previously, apply everything with a lighter color and slightly cooler. Remember that those little branches on top are the finest. So very, very little brush strokes. So first I'm covering everything that is outlined. That will be the lightest color. Reload my brush. Wider area needs to be covered. As I'm painting on a dry surface, I am slowly, nothing is drying, so I'm painting in my normal speed. You can do even slower if you need to. Like this. This is first layer. Now while it's still wet, taking more watercolors. Even if it's dry, that's also okay. So take darker color. And in some places with uneven brush strokes, like you are going with the tip of the brush in between the branches, getting in this darker color. Slowly, leaving gaps of light as well, because we need to have different areas, darker, lighter. And you, with each brush stroke, you're like pushing color, like you would be pushing under the branch that is on top. Imagine like you are really going, like if there would be a tree and you need to push that darker color under the branch. That's what I am doing. Definitely need more here. Taking watercolors. Something is missing here, like a little empty space. And as you go higher, of course, those darker gaps are becoming lesser and smaller, but still there are different areas. Okay, now we can push a little bit darker and add some details like little branches. Now we just have a big branch sticking out, but there's like little branches under that, so we can now add that with the tip of the brush. Under the branches, usually the area is darker as the upper part is casting shadow on the lower part. So tiny, tiny work, but definitely worth it. And the more attention of tiny details you add to the Christmas tree, the more realistic it looks. Then I'm taking the darkest color, and in some little parts pushing darkness even further. That's how we create different tonal values on one tree, one subject, and create those further closer effects. Now this lower part, I'm taking round synthetic brush, needs a little bit of smoothing. I forgot that, but now as it is dry, with circular movements, I am making that edge more softer. I will add more color there. Now, like this, so it blends more nicer. And this lower part should be in the shadow because, well, the old tree is casting there. We will make shadow under Christmas tree more visible. A little bit more. So this is our third time painting Christmas tree during this challenge. And this is a nice practice in such a short time. And a little top, like this. Now I want to make the right side slightly darker and leave left side lighter. And for that, I'm taking a little amount of my bluish gray mix. Not so dark. And making my right side darker as it is in the shadow, and to make this tree not flat but a little bit with volume. Only this to the right side. You see this side, and it goes into the shadow because of this little adjustment. And as everything is around cool with cool tones, I'm making it cooler in the shadow as well, creating this illusion. Then this side in general, also here I want to make darker. And it looks that this side goes away from light, and this is in the light. Now shadow under Christmas tree, need more visible. Washing my brush, cleaning in paper towel and smoothing edges. Zooming out, and I want to push in some places darkness. On the inside part of the snow globe, on the edges, a little bit here in front with the snow that is stacked against the glass, and with the base. Using round synthetic brush, I will start with the base. Darker part, also here and here. Then I want to have a little bit of shadow more closer to the snow globe. Wash my brush, clean it in paper towel, and smooth. So it's more smoother transition. Now these white lines also need a little bit of glaze to make them slightly darker. And also here. Like this. Under here, push a little bit darker on this side, making that slightly lighter, that their little part of light is even going into that little darkest gap. And it's important to have this line curved because snow globe is round, and even the very front part of the snow, which is stacked against glass, is curved. Now I'm pushing with a little bit of contrast here and there, not everywhere. Washing my brush, cleaning in paper towel, and smoothing. And a little bit here. Washing my brush, cleaning in paper towel, and smoothing. Like this. Maybe a little bit more darker spots to the tree. Just a little bit, so that there are lighter parts visible. This day is all about softness, light. I want to have a slightly darker mix. I want to push, I'm adding blue to my green and a touch of red. I want to push darkness here. Like now, this is the moment that we are adding details, and if needed, pushing somewhere darkness. It's up to you how you want to make it detailed, how you want to push this darkness. Went overboard. Quickly going back and correcting that little thing. Okay, I think I am done. with this day painting. It's very soft, it's very light in weight, light in color, and that was my main what I wanted to achieve, and creating this cool misty look for day 11.